guys, so fuck. Hey guys, so today I'm going to be showing you my favorite brushes from 2015. So let's just get started. So we're going to start off with, I'm going to do all the Real Technique ones, which is pretty much every single brush. So the first one that I have is the regular Real Techniques powder brush. And as you can see, it's just really fluffy, great for packing on some powder to set the face. It takes like not that long. You just kind of do your thing. This is a very fluffy brush, so it just works great for setting the face. That is what I love this brush for. The next brush that I'm going to talk about is the regular foundation brush. This one is also great for just buffing in your foundation. It looks like this. It's density. This is great for buffing in your foundation in circular motions. I personally don't use it for that. A lot of the times I'll use it for blush because it's perfect size for my cheekbones and I love it. I don't know a lot of the names for these brushes, so sorry. This brush, I don't know what this brush I love to just set my under eye with. It fits right in there, one swoop, and you are set. So this is what this looks like. So this is just a great brush altogether. There's powder coming out of it because this is what I use to set the face, obviously. Well, my under eye. So next, these two are not brushes, but they are by Real Techniques, so I have to show them. They are two Real Techniques beauty sponges. They just look like this. I'm sure that you guys have seen them on YouTube because it's like the controversial thing. Like, are these better than the Beauty Blender? Me personally, I would not spend the money on a beauty blender when I can have pretty much the same thing. It's just as squishy and it does everything that you could ever want it to do. So I wouldn't spend the money on it, but whatever. So the next brush is going to be the brush that I use for foundation. I'm pretty sure that this is the contouring brush. So it just looks like this. And it's really dense. Very dense. So I like this because I can just, and it takes up kind of a lot of your face at the same time. I love this brush. I love this brush for foundation. It's just good for foundation. I love it. Next, let's move on and we can do these ones kind of quickly. We will do eyeshadow brushes. So this first brush here, it's actually one that my sister uses, and I'm not really sure what she uses it for. I don't know. I couldn't tell you if I wanted to, but I would use this to fill in my eyebrows or create a wing and just stamp it on and bring it back in. So that's what I would use that for. I guess that's not really my favorite, but I'm sure it's my sister's. Next, this one is the base shadow brush, also by Real Techniques. It's just like that. And obviously I put this and I use this for my base shadow today. I picked up some of the, if you can hear the background, I'm sorry. I picked up some of the Becca Hill Champagne Pop and just tap, 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 and tap, tap, tap on my lid. And then, there you go. Now I gotta make them both even. Alright, so the last brush from Real Techniques that I have is my favorite. So this is actually the under eye setting brush, but I use this for my highlight. It is literally ingenious for the highlight. I mean, I don't know why people would set their under eye with it because it just gets right in there and gets the job done with that highlight. Love this brush. Such a good brush. If you get any of the Real Technique brushes, get this one. Next, I'm going to move on to the 3 MAC brushes that I have with me today. So the first one that I'm going to talk about, I got these all on the 2014 holiday kit. So the first one I'm going to talk about is a MAC 187 SE, and it just looks like this. It's the regular stippling brush, and I actually use this to bronze my cheekbones, which sounds a little weird, but it's what I love to use this for. I wasn't a big fan of putting my foundation on with it, it didn't really suit me with that, but it's actually like really nice, and I love to set my cheekbones with it. The next brush that I'm going to talk about is the MAC 286 SE, and this is just a blending brush. It gets just right in your crease and blends everything out, so it works for me, and it's just a regular old blending brush. All of these are like almost like a stippling. I know that I can't think of the name for them right now, but I know that they're like there's certain duo fiber. They're all duo fiber brushes. So I love these. The last MAC brush that I have to talk about is actually not right here, which is odd. Where is it? Alright, so I don't know where the last one is, so I just won't talk about it, but it's just a shader brush. Oh, no, it's just a shader brush, and I love it. So next we're going to go into the randoms. So we'll start with drugstore. So I only have about 5 brushes left to talk about, and then I will get into, actually I'm gonna save that for another video. I was gonna talk about the rest of the things that I've been loving, but it's okay. So the next brush, this is by e.l.f. and it looks like this, and it's just a eyeshadow brush. This is a crease brush, which this is actually great for getting into your crease. Today I have a red color on from the 88 shade BH1 Cosmetics palette. This red color that I've used all of. I love that color, but you don't want to get it too far into your crease or too high up in your inner right here, your inner corner. You just kind of want to bring it here and then drag whatever you have left in here, because you don't want it to look, you don't want your eyes to look crazy. So this, I love this for that color. Next we're going to be talking about another e.l.f. brush, and this is the e.l.f. Small Stipple Brush. This is like perfect for blending in your concealer. I love this for concealer. This morning I didn't want to use the other brush that I have here that I'm not even sure if I talked about yet, but I'm talking about again, so I'm sorry if I did. Which is going to be the Ulta Angled Foundation Brush. I didn't want to use this brush just because it almost is too, it wouldn't make it light and airy. I don't really like my concealer to be super thick, so if you just take this in circular motions, it will lighten up your concealer and just give you a nice natural look. So next we're going to talk about the Angled Foundation Brush by Ulta. Now this was not a drugstore brush, and so I said that I was going to do the drugstore first, but I lied. This is just an angled foundation brush, super dense. It's a good brush, but I'm not the biggest fan. I was going to get this for my highlight, but it packs it on too much, and you can never have too much highlight, but you can have it look too cakey. So that is why I always go back to the Real Techniques brush for my highlight. So this brush, let me get into what I love this brush for. This is another brush where if I have a concealer that might, you know, cake up too much or whatever, and I need to pack, you know, powder right there and just dab, 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 this is perfect for that. So let's say that I need to set my concealer. So if I go in here and I pick up my Anastasia powder, see how much goes on, tap, tap, and just pat, 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 and it's on, and it's beautiful. And that is what I love that brush for. So the next brush that I'm going to be talking about is actually, it came with an eyeliner. I wonder if I have the eyeliner in my drawer. Probably not. But it was one of those, just one of the, I don't even know what you would call it, one of the Revlon, I think it was Maybelline. Yeah, it was one of those Maybelline dip eyeliners. And it came with this little brush. Bristles are super, 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 super thin. This is good for packing on the black, which I take out of the Naked Basics palette. And I just take the black out of here, tap, 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 and then just put it on. It's perfect for creating more of a black line. I love this brush for that. I use it every day. Next, we're going to be talking about the Ion Stippling Brush. So this, and as you can see, we don't really, it's not something that gets dirty. We just use this to take off our bake. So for baking, we use the e.l.f. High Definition Powder, which we ran all out of today. When I say we, I'm talking about me and my little sister. But we would pack this on using one of the beauty blenders and just pack it on. And then we would take this after like 5 minutes and swipe it away because it's so soft and it just has a good swiping motion. Next, I have the No Name brand shadow brush. This morning, I used it to just put some eyeshadow right under my under eye. This was really good for that. It really did get the job done. I'm talking faster about these, if you can tell, because these ones, they're not something that I use on an everyday basis, but they are something that's like necessary, I feel, to have in your kit. So, this next one is the Precision Face Brush by Bare Minerals, and this brush is really good to just, if you want high coverage foundation and you want to buff it in with this brush. It's an angled precision face brush, and it is perfect for just blending in foundation when you want to have high coverage foundation. Let's say that you broke out the night before and you have to go to prom or something and you need a high coverage, face, then use this brush and just buff it in lightly and you'll be good. The next and last brush that I have to talk about is just a regular old foundation brush by Ulta. This, you just pack it on, and it's just a regular foundation brush. There's not really much that I can go into detail with. I like to put the foundation on the back of my hand, pick it up, and then just put it as I feel needed. Sometimes I just use this to put my foundation on, but not often. Normally I will want to blend it in with like a beauty blender or anything that I normally put my foundation on with. This I will just use to set the product as I want it on my face. Everybody should have one of these brushes. They're convenient and they help with kind of a lot. So, if you were to buy any brush and you're a new beginner at makeup, I would definitely recommend a foundation brush. And I like these because they have a place for your fingers to go, and it works out for me extremely well. So that was all of my brushes that I loved in the year of 2015. So I hope that you guys have a happy holiday, whatever you may celebrate, and if it was Hanukkah, happy Hanukkah. Those brushes were my favorite, and thank you for watching. I love you all, and thank you so much.